The story begins in a frantic and chaotic setting, the kitchen of an exclusive five-star restaurant on its grand opening night. Chefs and assistants rush back and forth, making sure every dish is flawless and perfectly cooked for the guests. In the middle of this whirlwind, we meet Anna, the owner and head chef of the restaurant, who directs every detail of the service with precision and discipline. Her obsession with perfection has been key to her success, something her husband, Ray, reminds her of when he shows her a newspaper featuring her as one of the 5 best chefs in the country. Despite the pride she feels over this recognition, Anna cannot stop worrying about what is happening in the kitchen. While Ray delivers a speech to the diners, she appears restless, unable to enjoy the moment. She has always preferred to let her work speak for itself rather than being the center of attention. Eventually, she can no longer contain herself and returns to the kitchen only to discover that a small fire broke out during her brief absence, although it has already been brought under control. This only reinforces her belief that her presence is indispensable. Although Ray feels somewhat annoyed that she left him speaking alone, he understands her attitude and decides to focus on making sure the evening is a success. He dedicates himself to entertaining the guests so they will not notice the delays coming from the kitchen. Shortly afterward, the head waitress approaches him to inform him that a group of men is demanding a table, but the restaurant is completely full. They insist on seeing the manager and refuse to leave without speaking to him. When Ray goes to the entrance, he comes face to face with Mickey, an old acquaintance who clearly has not come just to congratulate him. He is accompanied by John, an intimidating-looking man. The reason for their visit quickly becomes clear. Ray owes Mickey an exorbitant amount of money, and they have come to collect it. Trying to avoid a scandal on such an important night for his wife, Ray asks them not to ruin the moment and promises that he will settle the debt the following day. Mickey, though unconvinced, agrees to leave, but not before praising the restaurant and delivering a veiled threat. It would be a shame if something were to happen to the place. After the uncomfortable visit, the night continues without major incidents. The customers leave satisfied, and Anna manages to achieve an almost perfect opening night. Later, while reviewing the numbers with her team, Ray is pleased to see that the first night has been a complete success. When it is time to leave, Anna decides to stay a little longer to experiment with new recipes, feeling inspired. She asks her assistant, Mary, to walk Ray to his car since she does not want him crossing the parking lot alone. Ray, confident that everything is under control, heads to the vehicle with Mary, but upon arriving, he once again encounters Mickey and his men. Mickey reminds him that it is already the next day and that he has come for his money. Ray tries to buy time and explains that when he said tomorrow, he did not mean exactly at midnight, but Mickey is no longer willing to wait. The tension escalates rapidly, and when Mary, clearly uncomfortable, attempts to leave, John pulls out a gun and shoots her in the head without hesitation. The message is clear. This is only a warning of what will happen to Ray's wife and employees if he does not pay immediately. Despairingly, Ray confesses that he doesn't have the money, which only worsens the situation. Without wasting any time, Mickey orders his men to go to the restaurant and burn it down. John grabs several gasoline canisters and heads toward the restaurant, determined to carry out the order to burn it down. As he enters, he notices that one of the stoves is still on, but he ignores it and begins pouring fuel throughout the place. Suddenly, the lights go out, and before he can react, he is attacked by Anna with a frying pan. What seemed to be a simple chef turns out to be a lethal fighter, and at that moment, her hidden past is revealed. She had once been a member of Russian intelligence, the KGB. Years earlier, she had abandoned that life in search of a quieter future, devoting herself to her true passion, cooking. After neutralizing John and his partner, Anna drags their bodies into the freezer and takes John's phone to call Ray. However, the one who answers is Mickey, who informs her that he has her husband and explains the debt Ray still owes. Mickey believes his men have already finished the job, but Anna surprises him with unexpected news. She has just eliminated 2 of his thugs, and if he wants to continue with his plan, he will have to find more men. Mickey, confused by the conversation, becomes distracted long enough for Ray to seize the opportunity and escape. He returns to the restaurant, and when reunited with his wife, confesses the truth. In the past, he and Mickey were partners, but his gambling addiction led him to lose millions. To save him, Mickey had to sell everything, and when Ray found himself cornered, instead of facing the consequences, he chose to run away, leaving Mickey to deal with the fallout alone. Now Mickey has returned to collect the debt, and if Ray doesn't pay, his life is at stake. Anna listens carefully, but doesn't waste time dwelling on regrets. Instead, she walks to the refrigerator, pulls out a hidden machine gun, and places it on a basket of potatoes. At that moment, she reveals her KGB past to her husband. Ray is completely stunned and outraged that she never told him anything, but Anna ignores his reaction and demands that he remember any detail about Mickey's organization that might be useful. The situation is critical. They are trapped in a kitchen soaked in gasoline, and all it would take is a single match for everything to go up in flames. Meanwhile, Mickey calls his boss, Dom, to bring him up to speed. Dom flies into rage when he learns that not only has the debt not been collected, but 2 of his men have been lost in the process. Shortly afterward, Dom arrives at the parking lot with a dozen hitmen and orders Ray to come out to negotiate, making it clear that he has no other choice. Ray complies and meets Dom, who bluntly explains that there are only 2 ways out: the money or death. While they argue, Dom's men surround the restaurant and prepare to move in. However, Anna has already anticipated the attack and greets them with an ambush. Minutes pass with no sounds of firecracking or fire, making it clear that his men have failed and that Anna is still alive. Even so, the chef knows she will need reinforcements, so she contacts Mimi, an old friend and former KGB partner. Both Mimi and her husband, Tomas, also left the agency long ago and don't hesitate to join the fight. In fact, they are excited to be back in action and even consider it a good first mission for their daughters. Meanwhile, Mickey and his men look for the best way to enter the restaurant, deciding to throw a Molotov cocktail from outside. But in an unexpected twist, the strategy backfires, and one of their own men ends up engulfed in flames. Now Mickey realizes that Anna is no ordinary woman, and decides to keep his distance, ordering his thugs to go in instead. Gary, the least experienced of the group, is terrified, but he has no choice but to obey. Once inside, Anna kills his partner and then confronts him. Desperate, Gary begs her to spare his life, and in exchange, reveals crucial information. Ray, in a desperate attempt to resolve his debt, handed over the restaurant's property deed to Dom. The plan was to burn the place down, collect the insurance money, and use it to pay what he owed. The betrayal by her husband hits Anna deeply, but she has no time to grieve. She will not allow these criminals to destroy what took her so much effort to build. After forcing Gary's hand into the deep fryer, he finally gives in and reveals how many men are left and how they are positioned. At that moment, Anna understands why the police have not intervened. Dom has stationed several of his men disguised as construction workers to control the perimeter, diverting any vehicle that gets close. Meanwhile, Mimi encounters one of these fake construction workers and, thanks to her training, immediately realizes he is a thug. Taking advantage of a moment of distraction, she shoots him in the head without hesitation. Then she and Tomas climb onto the neighboring building, where he eagerly waits for the chance to test his new rifle. From their vantage point, they see Gary leaving the restaurant and wonder whether Anna has let him go. To be sure, they send their daughters to intercept and frighten him. The plan works, and once he is captured, Mimi interrogates him. As expected, Gary is a coward and reveals everything, including the exact location where Dom is hiding. Meanwhile, Dom attempts one last strategy. He calls Ray and gives him a chance to convince his wife to surrender and allow the restaurant to be burned down. In exchange, they could collect the insurance money and walk away from the whole situation without any further bloodshed. Ray enters the restaurant and tries to speak with Anna, but she does not want to see him at that moment. However, he apologizes and confesses that his problems began long before he met her. He also had a secret life, far less lethal than hers, and ended up getting involved with the wrong people. Now that life has caught up with him, but he is willing to fight to protect his wife's dream. With determination, he turns his back on Dom and prepares to fight alongside Anna. Shortly afterward, Dom's men arrived, led by Rona. They are not ordinary thugs, but a highly trained team equipped with tactical gear. After negotiating their payment, they enter the restaurant, only to discover that the power has been cut and the place is flooded. One of them makes the mistake of touching the water and is instantly electrocuted. Immediately afterward, the microwave explodes, creating the perfect distraction for Anna to attack from a secure position. The fight moves into the bar, where gunfire fills the air. Ray does his best to cover his wife, but he is shot in the leg.
The couple lock eyes for a moment, fully aware that they are outnumbered and out of ammunition. Anna could escape, but she refuses to leave Ray behind. Just when it seems everything is over for them, a rain of bullets shatters the windows. The mercenaries fall one by one until the restaurant is finally cleared. Mimi and her daughters storm inside, saving Anna and her husband from certain death. With the immediate danger under control, Anna thanks Mimi, but her friend looks at her with a mixture of anger and resentment. She reminds her of a mission from 6 years earlier and says that her betrayal has not been forgotten. It turns out that Anna abandoned her when they were partners, and Mimi still feels deeply betrayed. Before Ray can react, Mimi attacks Anna, unleashing a fierce confrontation. Both women are highly skilled fighters, and the clash is brutal, with carefully calculated blows. In the end, after a hard-fought battle, Mimi points her gun at Anna's head and sets a condition. She wants a free dinner at the restaurant every week for the rest of her life. Anna accepts the deal, sealing her reconciliation with her former friend. Meanwhile, one of the wounded mercenaries manages to crawl out of the restaurant and reach Dom. The villain assumes it is Rona, but before he can say anything, the supposed mercenary removes his mask and reveals himself to be Ray, who does not hesitate to kill him. Seeing this, Mickey tries to escape, but Anna intercepts him and kills him without mercy. Finally, the couple return to the restaurant. Despite the place being destroyed and riddled with bullet holes, they raise a glass of champagne to celebrate the success of their first night.
Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for more movie breakdowns and recaps.